PTF and JK back with you for our loaded weekend of Breeders Cup preps all around North America. In this video, we're going to tackle Keeneland on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Whole lot of races in this video. Make sure you look elsewhere on the In the Money Media YouTube channel to catch our coverage of Belmont at Aqueduct, of Santa Anita, and also a special video covering the Kentucky Derby points races. Speaking of the Kentucky Derby, we're going to have a word from our sponsors for this video, TwinSpires, up in a bit. But for now, let's dive in to Friday winning you're in Breeders' Cup action at Keeneland, JK, with the Phoenix. Who do you like in this one?
Look, Pete, I like this race. It's going to be a lot of fun. Nakatomi's back in here. I love him moving forward. Obviously, just a prep for him, right? He got his grade 1 earlier this summer, and now he'll kind of look forward to taking a step forward for that Breeders' Cup. But Federal Judge, I thought, was very impressive. He's got a little bit of pace to deal with in here, and he's got a pretty talented horse in Nakatomi that's going to run at him, and Nakatomi showing that new dimension of being a little bit closer. Playing multi-race wagers, I'm going to need both of these. For a win standpoint, I would go with Federal Judge, but I'm not going to let Nakatomi beat me, and I prefer Nakatomi moving forward.
I'm with Nakatomi in this spot. That form of the last race has been validated with big efforts by Skelly and my buddy B. The figure has been justified. I think Nakatomi is just going to get an absolutely perfect trip in here. I think all systems go for Nakatomi in this year's Phoenix. We move on to the very next race, the Jessamine winning you're in action for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. There's a horse in here who I think is going to be cross-entered, so I'm going to give you 2. But if the 12-runner Coretto goes, I'm going to take a shot with her. Difficult post potentially, and maybe that's the reason why they will end up going in New York. But I feel like that last race was one of those races where the pace was so slow early that the final figure could only be so fast. Absolutely love this pedigree cross here, English Channel, Kitten's Joy. Going to need to work out a trip from that outside post, but you're going to be compensated in terms of price. If she doesn't go, or for other USA exotic purposes, Isle of Capri, I thought was really interesting. I liked that debut where she caught money and just did things in really good style. Not a horse that necessarily needs the lead, but definitely should be forward. Brendan Walsh runners often improve more than average second time up. Who do you like in the Jessamine?
Come on, Pete. You're more Italian than I am. Isle of Capri. Capri. Look, I like that horse quite a bit as well. I'm going to use the 2 Isle of Capri, who's drawn towards the inside, has some tactical speed, is stretching out. But, I mean, if you can run the 6.5 at Kentucky Downs, I feel a lot about the same way about some of these Europeans that can run the stiff 7 furlongs. I'm not worried about them stretching out. I think it's more of a stamina test than you might think. So I have no problem there. Should get a nice trip tucked in towards the inside. But my top choice in here will be the 6, Destino d'Oro, who I thought ran well last time, was wide all the way around there. There's been 3 winners out of that race. 2 winners out of that race. Got a fast speed figure on Time Form US. Those will be my top 2 in here in what looks like a pretty wide open edition of the Jessamine.
Italian lessons from you, JK. What's next? I'm going to teach you about old school hip hop.
Look, watch this, Pete. Schwiadel. Huh?
There's a place across the street from me, actually, that makes a very good sfogliatelle. You don't have to go into deepest Brooklyn anymore. We have them right here in Park Slope. Let's move on to the next race, the race that was responsible for one of the most famous moments in the Money Players podcast history. That story is for an audio version, not a video one. The Alcibiades is up next. Great race. I think it's really tough to pick between the top 2 in the market. I'm going to give a vote to number 7, Quietside. I just think you can project a lot of improvement from this one. There were 2 lengths, less than 2 lengths between this one and the presumptive favorite last time out. I think Quietside with a cleaner run through can get the job done. Am I on the right track here, looking towards the top of the market, or can you pull in something at a price?
The same track that I'm on. Quietside for me as well, Pete. I don't have a lot to add. I thought Quietside ran extremely well last time in the spin away. And the winner of that race, Immersive, drawn right to the outside, the 8 horse in here, I thought got a perfect trip, an outstanding ride by Manny Franco. But it's hard to take short prices off of horses that are exiting perfect rides, perfect trips. I'm not against Immersive. I just believe the 7 Quietside offers a little bit more value. And Sherbini I'll use underneath, I think is interesting for Bobby Flay as a little bit of a price.
we have a lot more coverage Saturday and Sunday. Before we get to Saturday, though, let's tell you about the sponsor of this video, TwinSpires.com, and their brand new tournaments platform. They're offering games, feeders, qualifiers almost daily. Huge action this weekend with another game on Saturday. You can also play on TwinSpires via the Keeneland contest next weekend on October 12th. Go to TwinSpires.com and hit that contest tab for all the information. TwinSpires back, major player in the space. And speaking of majors, there's going to be a new major in contest. The Kentucky Derby betting challenge is back. Go to TwinSpires.com for all that info. Let's go to Saturday, JK, and we'll start with the Grade 2 Woodford. We're turf sprinting here. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to go towards the outside. You know, I'm a sucker for speed in these turf sprints, and XY speed to me feels like one that could be in a pretty good position. I'm going to forgive the last race. I thought that race, just give an excuse there. I'm going to draw a line through that race at Monmouth, and I'm going to look back to some of those races at Gulfstream. I think that this horse could definitely be in the mix late as a speed type. Our shot, probably the best horse in the race, the 4 horse it looks like in here. I don't have numbers with the past performances, but I don't think there's any entries in here. So I'm going to use those two. I will take XY Speed as my top choice, but our shot right behind that one. And I probably a better horse. I think I'll probably get a better price with XY Speed.
I'm going with our shot. I think this is the right horse. Has so many huge races, been knocking on the door with those close seconds of late, but I think has an opportunity with all that speed. You know, you mentioned XY Speed. You got Copel in here who has one way of going. Super Quest. I'm hoping this one can be an honest enough pace and set up for our shots late kick. Keeneland's 7th race. We move on to some 3-year-old and up filly sprinting action. Bright work for me, JK. This filly took such a big step up apparently from 2 to 3. Looking at the recent work tab, she might not be done improving. Has an opportunity, I think, to win on Saturday and go on to be one of the favorites for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. You know, Ways and Means might have something to say about that. Of course, Ways and Means, I have a feeling one of the fillies we're going to be talking about in another video we have coming up on the In the Money Media YouTube channel when we talk about horses we're excited to see at this year's Breeders' Cup. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the In the Money YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our YouTube exclusive content, including 4 separate tipping videos just this very weekend. So yeah, go ahead, do us a favor, click that notification bell. But who do you like in this one? Is it Bright Work or is it somebody else?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 3 Bright Work as my top choice. Like you mentioned, these 3-year-old fillies are sprint fillies on the dirt. Look to be a pretty good group with Ways and Means winning the Gallant Bloom, and likely, in my opinion, will be the favorite for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, looking to give Chad Brown 3 Filly and Mare Sprints in a row. Bright Work, I can't help but feel like we got cheated on August 3rd when, unfortunately, she flipped in the paddock. We were going to have a chance to see her and Ways and Means hook up in that test, but hopefully we'll see them in the same gate together at some point in the near future. So I'll go with the 3 Bright Work on top, but I will mention I do think the Red Carpet Ready is interesting towards the outside. Getting back on the dirt, been running on the turf in the last 2 starts, finishing on the outside if they happen to get a little tired.
Keeneland's 8th race on Saturday is the Grade 1 First Lady. Who do you like in here?
I'm going to go with Chili Flag. Chili Flag, to me, getting back to the mile. I thought she ran okay in the Diana going the 9 furlongs. I think the flat mile is going to hit her right between the eyes. I think she's also going to get some speed, some pace to close into here. And I'll use some other horses defensively, the 11 White Beam. If you win the Diana twice, I don't care what race you run in on the grass. I like you moving forward. That shows a lot of talent, a lot of consistency, and she's got some tactical speed in here. She should be able to help set it up for her stablemate if they go too quick early. And then I wanted to make sure I had at least a little snivel on the 10 Ag Bullet towards the outside, who I thought ran well last time, got a nice figure as well. So I'll use that one as kind of a B type, but Chili Flag for me will be the top choice.
Did you say a sniffle?
Sniffle. Yeah. It's a combination between a sniffle and a shiv. It's a Texas
I'm
thing.
going with the Irish Invader here. Hopefully, no shiv needed for this Invader. Tarawa makes a lot of sense to me. On Rob Dove, one of the top 10 pro punter in the UK today's figure work, had her running a 97. Not like she has some huge edge on figures against these, but I think she's got a great draw. She's done really well left-handed. Dermot Weld doesn't send a lot of horses over to the U.S., but He is the only European trainer to have ever won a USA Dirt Classic, and that's not the only race he's won when he sent them over. He doesn't do this move often, but when he does, often successful. Tarawa looks all class and an opportunity, I think, to maybe represent some value in the First Lady. For the 9th race, that's the Futurity, Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland. We're going to make you watch one of our other videos. We're going to do one about the Kentucky Derby points races. Look for that elsewhere. Coming soon to the In the Money Media YouTube feed, which brings us to race number 10. We're looking at the Keeneland Turf Mile. More invaders in this one. Look, I really like Mountain Bear as a horse, but I just worry he's going to have a lot of work to do. I'm not seeing a ton of pace in this spot. I'll probably try to keep him on side, use him in some combinations, but it's really the other invader, Kikuli, I think might be the most interesting. I love these 7 furlong types from overseas when they come here running the mile. Kikuli's a handy sort. I think should be in a good, progressive, attacking type position early, and I think has an opportunity to be heard from in this Keeneland Turf Mile. That's going to be my top pick in this one, where the Euros hold a strong hand, but the locals aren't exactly slouches either, and I know who you're going to pick in here already. Horse I know you think has a chance not just here, but maybe in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Why don't you tell us who it is?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Carl Spackler. What he's done throughout his career, he's been very consistent. He's tactical, but he's really kind of turned the corner. It feels like he's got this low head carriage, really reaches, and you know, anytime you can help Chad Brown get his first grade 1 in a turf race, you got to be a pretty good animal, right? But I will say this: my heart will be with Carl Spackler, and I will be picking Carl Spackler, but I cannot and will not ignore More Than Looks, who came in off a 281-day break, a change of plans, was supposed to run the week prior to the 4-star Dave in an easier spot, the Lure. That race was rained off. Then they decided to come back in the 4-star Dave, and I remember that week saying all week that I don't like the change of plans for More Than Looks. If he wasn't good enough a week ago to run in the 4-star Dave, wasn't fit, wasn't ready, then he wasn't going to win this 4-star Dave here as a backup plan. And he ran huge, considering that fact that he was coming in off such a break. I think he's going to take another step forward. I think he's the main competition for Carl Spackler. I want to make sure I'm alive to both of these horses.
It's a great case for More Than Looks as well. We'll see how it plays out on Saturday as we move on to action Sunday. Just want to put in a quick plug for our In the Money Plus service. We've got a free preview this weekend. Sign up for our free email over at inthemoneypodcast.com/email. You'll get to see what it's all about. And if you sign up just for 1 month, $20, you'll get all of our extra Keeneland coverage as well as our special Breeders' Cup package. Spoiler alert, going forward, I think we're going to have charge extra for our Derby and Breeders' Cup stuff. It's been so popular and it takes a whole lot of work. But for this time, we're going to just include it as part of the regular Plus service. Take advantage of this great free information from the team. Let's go to Sunday. We'll go to race number 9, the Spinster. Winning, you're in action for the Distaff. Idiomatic had to work so hard last time, pressed every inch of the way, ended up setting up for Raging Sea. This time, I think she's going to be able to dictate on the front end, be able to run a lot more efficiently, and take a whole lot of beating. I'm with Idiomatic. Not very creative, but hey, I think I still just gave you the winner. Who do you like in the Spinster?
I completely agree. I thought she ran outstanding. And I think it's setting up very nicely for a Distaff of a little bit of old and a little bit of new. The previous champion at Idiomatic and the new and coming up champion, 3-year-old champion in Torpedo Anna getting in the gate together in that Distaff. I think this will be a stepping stone for Idiomatic to get back to the scene of the crime last year in California when she won the Distaff.
Lots of ways to go in the 10th race on Sunday. The Bourbon Stakes, winning in action for the Juvenile Turf. The one I keep coming back to, JK, is number 4, Giacoso. That was an excellent debut that's produced solid form with a couple of next out winners. Cannot blame Connections at all for trying the dirt in the Iroquois. And the horse ran well, ran in the money there. But now getting back onto the best surface with a trip that I think is just going to be absolutely perfect, sitting in a forward spot, in behind the speed, stalk and pounce kind of stuff. A lot of ones you could pick. I'm picking Giacoso. Who do you like in the Bourbon?
I'm going to go with the 6, Cavallo Bay. And for a couple of reasons. One, I thought Cavallo Bay ran really well with anticipation, but Tenacious Leader took a lot of money that day because Tenacious Leader had been working with Talk of the Nation, okay, a horse that's running on Saturday in the Grade 1 turf race that Carl Spackler and them are running in, worked with that horse. So Tenacious Leader obviously has some talent, I think ran well that day. And then Zulu Kingdom came back and ran and won another stake, winning the Pilgrim at Belmont at the Big A. So this is a productive race for me. I want to have this horse based on who he's been running against. Give me Cavallo Bay. And oh, by the way, Charlie Appleby in a stake race in the U.S.
Keep it locked to the In the Money Media YouTube channel. You've heard what we think. We want to hear what you think. Let us know who wins these stakes at Keeneland, where we got it right, where we got it wrong. Always love to hear from you in the comments on the In the Money Media YouTube channel.